Okay, the question today is, what do I do to train? And how do I keep myself in the game? How do I keep my head in the game? How do I keep myself prepared to defend myself? That question has a couple of different answers to it here. A couple of different things I do, so let's get started. Okay, the first thing I do is I actually train with my firearm. And I train in a way, not like target shooting. Target shooting is great, plinking is great, but it's not training. I train with this gun in the way I'm going to use it in a self-defense situation. That means drawing the gun and maybe not being able to get a full arm extension, maybe not being able to get that perfect shot placement. So just pulling it, bringing the gun in close to your body in a proper position, and being able to fire off that first shot. Shot placement is great, and people will tell you learn all the proper grips, learn the proper techniques, learn the proper stances, but those don't do you a lot of good in a fight if you haven't learned the basics of just draw the gun and shoot it. Because like I say, shot placement is great, but if you don't get off your first shot, you've got no placement at all. A poor first shot that hits the target is better than no shot at all. So I practice with this gun in the way that I'm going to actually use it. So that's number one thing I do. And another thing is I use it all the time. Every time I go to the range, I shoot this gun. It's my everyday carry, so I shoot it every time I go to the range. If it's just 5 or 6 shots, I fire, 6 shots or 12 shots, 2 cylinders, 1 cylinder, I fire it. Keeps me used to how it feels, keeps me used to the trigger, keeps me used to the gun, keeps me used to how it points. Sometimes I take it to the range and train exclusively with it, but if I go even to shoot a new gun that I just bought, I still take this one and I at least fire 6 to 12 rounds through it. So I use it a lot, get myself used to it. Number two thing I do is I try to keep myself in reasonable physical condition. I mean, I'm not a little guy and I fight my weight. I'm 6'1", I weigh about 220 to 230 pounds depending on what day of the week it is or what I've eaten. So, I really have to fight my weight. If you're so heavy or you're so out of shape that you can't run a block or you can't wrestle with someone for 15 seconds without getting tired and being overcome with fatigue, you're probably not going to survive most bad situations. Other than just a pull and shoot self-defense. But that's such a small part of defending yourself. So I try to keep myself reasonably fit. I try to keep myself able to fight. That's part of the physical fitness. And I train with Krav Maga. That's my choice. I mean, boxing, wrestling, whatever you want to do, learn. I choose Krav Maga because I think it's a good fighting style. It keeps me reasonably fit. There's lots of cardio involved in it. It does really teach you how to fight and get away. Because my main goal is always to get away. So I learn how to keep myself, I try to keep myself fit, and I try to learn how to stay in the fight. The last thing I do is always be aware of your situation. Situational awareness is very important. Even if it's just knowing where the exits and entrances are, where you're at, knowing what the vantage points are of where you're at, know where you can be seen but you can't see, where you can be seen from but that you can't see. Just know things like when you go to the mall. I'm not saying be paranoid all the time, but just know things. Like know, in this mall, if something happened, this place has cover, this place doesn't. This place has an exterior exit, this place doesn't. If I run into this store, I'm trapped, no way out, all glass front, I could be caught in a shooting. If I run into this store, well, they have exterior exits, so I can get out. Just know things like that. Know if you go to a place that you're not familiar with, look at the exits, look at the entrances, look at the windows. Know where could danger come from and where can I go. Because my goal, if I get into a bad situation, is not to know how to fight my way out. It's to know how to get away without having to fight. I will defend someone if I have to. If I have to defend someone else's life, especially a family member, I will. But if it's just to me and the bad guy, I'm getting away. So those are the things I do. I practice with my weapon. I practice in the way I'm going to use it. I practice with it often. I try to stay reasonably fit, and I try to learn how to fight. I try to learn how to defend myself, and I stay aware of the things that are around me. Those are the things I do to keep myself reasonably safe. Now, I'm not a paranoid person. I always feel safe, but I don't see a bad thing about doing these things also.